Auto workers are navigating a whirlwind of developments. On the heels of another Windsor assembly layoff, word of an exemption for Canadian auto parts followed almost immediately by another blow at General Motors. Joining me tonight with our top story to break this all down is CTV's Sanjay Maru. Sanjay.
Well, Stephanie, the past 24 hours tumultuous to say the least for Canada's auto industry. CBSA says CUSMA-compliant parts will be exempted even though tariffs still remain on finished vehicles. That was followed by GM announcing 700 people will be laid off by a shift reduction. All this underscoring just how vulnerable the Canadian auto sector is, and that's being felt right here at home.
Here at Windsor Assembly, workers are bracing for yet another layoff next week. This one, Stellantis says, not because of tariffs. But in Oshawa, union leaders there say General Motors is pointing to tariffs as to why it's planning to cut an entire shift, putting hundreds out of work. The move has everyone fearing more tariff-fueled layoffs will follow.
You always have that in the back of your mind, right? You always worry about the fact that if GM is able to do this, will Stellantis do this, will Ford do this?
New guidance from U.S. Customs says auto parts that follow the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement will not be hit with President Donald Trump's 25% tariffs. A relief for many in the auto sector, but this exemption comes with limits. Not covered are knockdown kits or parts combinations. Engineering professor Peter Fry says companies like Volvo in Nova Scotia would rely on these back in the 1960s.
Volvo was shipping in crates of parts, but the cars were not built in North America. They were assembled from kits that were all built in Europe. And I think this provision is to prevent that kind of thing from happening again.
The Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association says that's not how vehicles are built in Windsor or across Canada, but industry leaders add even with the exemptions, pressure is growing to shift final assembly into the U.S., even if that means more strain on automakers across North America.
You might bleed out Canada and Mexico's production, but you're going to bleed it out of the American company's production. General Motors, Ford, Stellantis, out of Detroit and Dearborn and Auburn Hills, and it doesn't make sense. The companies are saying it doesn't make sense.
Auto experts say the tariff exemption of CUSMA-compliant auto parts is a step in the right direction, but union leaders in Windsor are not holding out hope that this will be the start of an eventual removal of tariffs altogether.
Anybody can say, hey, I put it in a way that I'm just going to punch you in the stomach instead of the face. It's still going to hurt, though.
And Volpe adds the layoffs in Oshawa are not just a Canadian issue. He says decisions like this ripple across the border, impacting thousands of suppliers, including some in Michigan who could now face job losses of their own. Yet another reminder of how deeply integrated the North American auto industry really is. Stephanie.
And I know many people here in Windsor, Essex are thinking of those Oshawa workers at this time.
Definitely.
So we'll continue to follow this closely. Sanjay, thank you for breaking it all down for us.